Ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. The most anticlimactic, earth-shattering Hollywood news finally became official. Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as president of Lucasfilm. Yes, that's right. She's stepping down, and Dave Filoni is stepping in as president and chief creative officer, with Lynwen Brennan as co-president handling business operations. But here's the real headline Disney doesn't want in a 72-point font. Kennedy basically admitted in her exit interview that a bunch of Star Wars movies are on ice and the new team is going to decide what actually lives or dies. So the question isn't, is Kathleen gone? It's, is Star Wars about to be saved or just rebranded? Let's talk about it. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to The Critical Nerd. If you're a returning subscriber, I humbly just say thank you. And you already know the rules. Receipts are greater than PR. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel covers pop culture like studios hate, with context, patterns, and the kind of honesty that makes Hollywood clutch its pearls. So if you would, do me a favor. This helps out with the YouTube algorithm. You know, they love engagement. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and drop a comment right now. Do you trust Filoni to fix Star Wars? A simple yes or no. So here's what's confirmed in the reporting. Kennedy is stepping down after roughly 14 years running Lucasfilm. Filoni becomes president and CCO. Brennan becomes co-president on the business and operations side. This creative plus business split is being framed as a normal Disney structure and also a subtle way of saying, we're watching the budget now, guys. Now, Kennedy, she's not fully gone. She's staying on as producer for, well, at least the next couple of films, probably a few more. And just for extra context, there hasn't been a Star Wars theatrical release since 2019, and the next one is supposed to be the Mandalorian and Grogu. In fact, it's supposed to be out this spring, I believe, if I remember correctly. So yes, this is a leadership change, but it's also, we need a win situation. Now, here's where it gets a little spicy. In the Deadline exit interview, Kennedy says the lows of her tenure were basically caused by a very, very small percentage of the fan base with huge expectations, and she wouldn't change anything, which is fascinating. Because if it was just a tiny group of haters with loud megaphones, why did Star Wars disappear from theaters for 7 years? Why did project after project get announced and then quietly vanish into the Force like Obi-Wan? Studios don't hit pause on a billion-dollar brand because 30 dudes on Reddit are mean. They hit pause when confidence drops, when planning collapses, and when the audience stops showing up like they used to. And here's the part that matters for the future. Kennedy isn't walking out the door. She's insisting she nailed it. That doesn't scream lesson learned. That screams, we're doing a corporate handoff and pretending the last decade was fine. Now for the real bombshell buried inside all of this. Yeah, we need to talk about the movie slate. Kennedy openly described multiple projects as on hold, back burner, or it's up to the new team. James Mangold script. Incredible, breaking the mold, but on hold. Soderbergh Scott Burns script. Well, great script. Also on the back burner. Taika Waititi turned in a script. Kennedy says it's hilarious and great, but not her decision anymore. Donald Glover turned in a script. Again, up to the new team. Rian Johnson returned. She says he got busy with Knives Out and also got, and I quote, spooked by online negativity while calling The Last Jedi one of the best Star Wars movies. That's debatable. Simon Kinberg is the only one described as moving with real momentum. Detailed treatment done, script expected, and Filoni Brennan are on board. So if you ever wondered why Star Wars movies have felt like a constant coming soon trailer, because it kind of was. And the funniest tell? Some reporting points out that certain previously trumpeted projects don't even get mentioned in these updates, which is not a great sign for these movies' chances. The bottom line here is this. Kennedy didn't just hand Filoni a crown, she handed him a freezer full of scripts and said, "Good luck deciding what's edible." Now look, I gotta say this. Filoni is beloved by a lot of fans for a reason. But here's what you need to keep in mind. Filoni has already been a major creative force at Lucasfilm for years. The company didn't suddenly discover him yesterday. And even more mainstream reporting points out the obvious. He's known for deep lore knowledge, but that can get too in the weeds for casual viewers. So the real test isn't whether Filoni respects canon, it's whether he can make Star Wars feel big again, accessible again, theatrical again. Because right now, Star Wars has felt like a franchise that keeps asking fans to do homework, and the casual audience has been like, yeah, well, I'm good. Here's the actual path to restoring Star Wars. This is solely my opinion. They need one theatrical win that feels like an event, not content. A clear, consistent strategy, not 7 announcements and 2 cancellations. Stop treating criticism like it's a moral failure. Because Kennedy basically capped her era by saying, it wasn't the movies, it was the fans. And that mindset is exactly what Filoni has to move away from if they want trust back. So yes, Kathleen Kennedy is out as president. But Star Wars isn't saved because of a press release. It's saved when regular people actually say, yeah, you know what? I'll buy a ticket for this. Now you guys tell me, do you think Dave Filoni is the fix or the continuation? And what would it take to get you back into theaters for Star Wars? Drop that down in the comments below. Again, if you would, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. I'm the Critical Nerd, and I'll see you in the next one.